it's noisy here. Stuff's going on. What is your job? What do you do here? What's going on?
Right, mixed front of house sound for the Australian Pink Floyd, and I'm loving it.
How long have you been doing this then?
This job or total?
Well, both.
Total, I started in 1984, and it's 2016 now, so quite a few years. I've been on this since the end of last year.
What's the best thing about this job?
Everything really. You meet nice people. I'm not a traveller, I don't like the travelling, but I love the job. The 2 hours of this is fantastic.
Yeah.
I get to play with the biggest hi-fis in the world. Get to use beautiful mixing desks.
So that's your job doing that then, is it?
Yeah, front of house.
Front of house. So that's, for people who aren't that technical, front of house is...
Well, front of house is over here, at front of house, which is mixing the left and right stereo mix for the whole crowd to listen to.
So that's basically what the punters hear when they go to a gig, that's the front of house, is it?
Pretty much, yeah. And I get it as good as I can here. I have a guy that sets all the system up, gets it ready for me to use. Mark, who's very good. He wanders around all night just to check all atmosphere changes, make sure it's not too this, not too that, because you can't please everybody really. So if we can please 70% of everybody, that's good.
And is that the same at every gig, or is that just like is that an
No, that's what we do, yeah. That's what any good tech would do for a front of house guy. Oh, I'm looking at you, Anna.
That's right.
I should be looking at the camera.
I can't help but notice a pair of slippers over your shoulder there.
Yeah, they're for when I get lonely, I put them under my shirt.
Is that?
They were bought off him.
Whoa, well.
Nice little present for me, you see.
Well, so you must have millions of qualifications and lots of... Tell me how you got into this game.
Typical, used to be a guitarist, blah, blah, blah. Realised that wasn't going to happen. I was the guy with the PA, I made it. Then someone asked me, could they borrow it? I said, no, but you can give us a tenner for using it. Went down with 3 channels, 3 mics, and then it just stemmed from there. And then I realised carting your own gear about is terrible. So now I have a Sharpie, which I never use, and a pair of headphones. And now I do this. Word of mouth, really. That's how I sort of work. I've only had a mobile for the last 6 or 7 years, so, you know.
And how long are you doing the job and how long are you at home? How does it work?
About 50-50. This is pretty good because you do a reasonable stretch, but then you get a few months off. And I've got to do a joinery on the side that I love.
Yeah, because that's just fun being creative, isn't it?
Yeah, very good.
So what would you say to someone who's there and they're thinking of getting into this game?
Just think about it. If you're married, it's harder. If you're single, it's easier. Just think about it. If you don't get on with people, it's not a good job to go into. If you can get on with people, then that's good.
That's half the battle, is it?
Yeah. The money's okay. Just got to keep check on your money. I didn't once. Still paying the price. Just think about it. You know, if you really want to do it, it is good. It's worth it.
What's the route in then? Getting just offering your services, or?
When I was kicking around in 1984, I went on my first tour, and that was just because I was mixing in an art centre, and a manager of a band that had just been signed come up and said, "Do you want to go on tour?" And I didn't know what he meant, because still to this day I've never been to an actual gig in my life apart from working on them, apart from little pubs or art centres. That was my scene. And I said, I don't know. And he said, well, I'll give you 40 quid a day. That was a lot back then. And I said, all right. So I did it for a month, walked straight into Manchester Apollo, nearly cacked my pants and thought, what am I doing here? Luckily, the system guy was really good, and he said, right, I'll set your first mix up. You can push the faders, and each night he showed me something different.
So it's kind of a bit like an apprenticeship, though, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you think
really,
that sort of
really old-fashioned apprenticeship.
Do you think that sort of thing really still exists?
I don't know.
Would you do it for someone?
Oh, I'd help someone, yeah, absolutely. And that's why we have support acts. My rule is they get as much as what they want, as long as they don't take the...
Proverbial.
Yeah, we never clamp them, we never turn them down. You know, it's just...
Because some gigs that happen, doesn't it?
It can do, yeah. It used to happen. I've had it done. But I just said, nah. And if someone needs some help, give them some help, you know.
What's one of the best gigs you worked on?
All of them.
Anyone stand out though? Is anyone?
They're all equally good in different ways. I do like working with Imelda May. She's my other main act. But all the bands I've worked with, I love this because I love them. It's my sort of music. I grew up listening to Pink Floyd, so you know.
Any last words of advice?
Now you'll find it's really corny. Have the odd beer or the odd glass of wine, like I do, but keep off the gear because it's rubbish. I've seen a lot of people lose their jobs and end up in a right mess through getting into that side of it because it isn't rock and roll. It's stupid.
So how do you have you on a massive adrenaline rush when the gig ends?
I used to. I'm 55 now. That doesn't happen. I enjoy it. Yeah.
Pardon?
Yeah. You're always apprehensive in case something isn't right. You know.
And they're not always in your control, that of course.
No, it isn't. No, you know. In the digital world, things can catch you out.
How many bits of kit are here then behind you? What's going on? Is it
Desk, drive rack.
right? So that's basically the desk is obviously everything comes from the.
Everything's in the desk. All the effects, all the graphics, EQs, compressors, gates. Because I like to use everything that's on board.
What is that desk? Who makes that then?
Digico
Okay.
SD7. It's
Yeah.
really good. And a drive rack, the Lake drive rack. That's like the crossover and the drive system for the PA system.
So for those who are not technical, the crossover what splits between the different frequencies?
Keep it simple. Bass, low bass, mid, treble.
And so that splits all that out
Yeah.
and sends it to the right place.
Yeah.
All those hundreds of speakers, obviously.
Yeah, different levels and stuff. Yeah. You know, and you can shift them about in time and all sorts. You know.
So it's really important to what? Trust your ears in this game.
Yeah, and have a really good tech. I couldn't set that up. I can set that up. I can 70% set that up, but I can't set that up because I've never learned how to do it, and that's the honest truth. Loads of engineers won't admit that, but it's true.
Fantastic. Thank you for your time.
No problem.
Thanks for watching this video. Hope you're enjoying what we're doing here on the Racket. If you do, please hit subscribe. I'll put a link here somewhere, but if you're on mobile, find the subscribe button, hit subscribe, click that little bell notification. It'll tell you when we got videos out. We'll be keeping these coming regularly and look forward to seeing your comments and hopefully hearing what you'd like to hear about here on the Racket.
So let's go. So that's the only song I use this on. I tried to get the 72 Telecaster to sound like this, and I could dial out some of the bottom end and it kind of sounded all right, and then I'd play this one and it just sounded perfect.